Welcome to Rise Up with Robbie, the live stream where politics, sports, and faith come together to inspire, challenge, and empower. Your host is Robby Wells, former NCAA Division I football coach, motivational speaker, author, and former presidential candidate. Every week, we will tackle today's biggest issues, explore the world of sports, and discover how faith and purpose can help you overcome any obstacle. Get ready for bold conversations and practical inspiration. It's time to rise up.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rise Up with Robbie podcast. This is going to be an amazing show. We've got the former GDO World Heavyweight Boxing Champion with us right here today. Ron Johnson is more than just a boxing champion. Ron Johnson is an entrepreneur. He's a boxing promoter, does all sorts of really cool things. I am really honored and humbled that Ron is the very first guest on the Rise Up with Robbie podcast. So we're going to take a quick break and then jump right into a conversation with the champ. We'll be right back.
I'm Robby Wells. I was a former college football coach, also ran for president of the United States. Understand this, you're going to go through some dark times. Some of you in here may be going through them, and that's why you're new to this business, okay? Midnight's the darkest part of any day. Just remember, midnight does not last very long because at 12:01 it's morning, and it's time to rise up, and it's time to blast off. Understand this, you're going to get better and better and better. You're going to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. Fail big. Because if you fail big, you're going to learn from it and you're going to move on from it. But always take advice from those that have been there and they have done that. You see, whether you are black or white, young or old, male or female, a member of the LGBTQ community, whatever your religion may be, we're all very unique in this room right here. We can celebrate our differences because we've got one common bond. We are all Americans and we all work for the greatest company on the face of this planet, Family First Life.
I tell you what, I am truly humbled. I am honored that we've got the former world heavyweight boxing champion of the GDO, Ron Johnson, with us right here today. And not only is he a boxing champ, but he's also an entrepreneur and a boxing promoter. Ron, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a great day, and I'm glad to be here and honored to be your first guest.
Well, I tell you what, this we are really hitting a home run today. I know it's another sport in baseball, but we're hitting a home run by having you on this show today. Ron, I want you to take us back for all the young people that are watching right now. I want you to take us all the way back to when you first got started. Talk about the uncle that you never met and talk about what got you started in boxing and let all these young people know that it is possible.
Yes. Well, I started boxing at the age of 7. My dad named me after his younger brother who passed when he was 19 years old. His name was Ronald C. Johnson, my same exact name, and I was born 2 years later. I never got to meet him, but everyone always talked about our resemblances and how our personalities was well alike, and and like I had like a ferocious type of demeanor like him, and so I just always wanted to like carry on that legacy that was cut short for him, and kind of I turned pro actually in June of when I turned nine. I was 19 years old, so I was actually the age that he was going to turn pro. I turned pro that same month that he passed away. Um, And when I was 19 years old, I made sure it happened that way, so that way the legacy just keep continue on.
Well, that's really amazing. Tell our young people here, like some of the training and stuff that you did as a young guy back there in Cleveland before you even moved out to Vegas, which is the mecca, of course, for
Yes,
boxing. But if you could just talk to them a little bit about perseverance, overcoming adversity, the things that you had to do in order to be a champion. Because Ron, I know you, okay, and
right,
I know that being a champion is not what just anybody can do. If anybody could be a champion, they just do it. Okay.
right,
If
correct.
it was easy, everybody would do it. It wasn't easy, was it?
No, not at all. And actually, growing up through the amateur ranks, I had our boxing team. We had a ton of national champions, right? And actually, I was probably the least best on our team as growing up. But that was like my motivation because like whenever we would go places, everyone would give like all my friends and my teammates like, oh wow, he's bad, he's a bad boy. And it's like obviously I'm with them, but it's like, oh okay, Ron, you're just with them, right? And it's like that gave me a chip on my shoulder. Like I wanted to make my own impression. I didn't want to just be the hang around or the teammate. And it was like it was cool and they gave me support, but I had like a fire inside of me that was like, hey, I want that. Like I want to be looked at as a compliment to this team versus just being here. And so I use that as a drive and determination. And it really clicked when I was about 14 years old, right? Because growing up through the whole amateurs, I would win fights. I took a lot of time off. I would leave boxing, go play basketball for school, play football for school, things of that nature. Then I'll come back. They stayed on tour, but then when I finally did come back fully was when I was like 13 years old, and I stayed committed at that point. But then we ended up getting a big sponsor that came into our life, Emmanuel Stewart, who was Lennox Lewis trainer. He was Prince Nassim's trainer, Tommy Hearn's trainer. He trained over 50 world champions, and he invented the Kronk boxing gym.
Right.
And when he
Detroit, I believe.
yeah, in Detroit, yes, and he actually created Kronk Cleveland for us. So now he would bring us up to the Poconos in Pennsylvania. We would go up there and train with Lennox Lewis, Zab Judah, all these world champions and things like that. So I started seeing like what you can actually become like and what you can actually have if you become really good in boxing. And so having that different viewpoint of the where you can actually what you can actually obtain in boxing was huge because growing up in Cleveland, we didn't have nothing to look up to as far as from boxing aspect, right? It
Right.
was being a world champion from Cleveland was just unheard of at that time, like
Right.
boxing wise, right? So we always had good, decent amateur fighters, but no one ever made it to the pinnacle. So it wasn't we didn't have anything to look forward to. And when he started to open our eyes and do those different things, that motivation translated into me. And it was just like I wanted to catch his attention. It's like, hey, I'm actually here. And I remember I was in Marquette, Michigan. That's when the light bulb went off actually.
Right.
I was there to support my friends at the National Junior Olympics tournament. And I already had lost in the regionals earlier, like a couple months prior to that. So we were at the Nationals. And right after the Nationals was over, a couple of my friends won. But then USA Boxing announced, hey, we're having a box offs here for all the people who lost in the Nationals. But if you're here and you lost in the tournament early on, you're welcome to being a part of the box offs. And the winner of the box offs will become on the USA team. So now you have to fight the winner of the, you get an opportunity to fight the winner of the tournament and like everyone else that lost. And my coach at first was like, Ron, like, let's just go back home. And I was like, and I remember Andre Durrell, one of my good friends, who's a world champion as well. He told my coach, he said, man, just let him stay. It's a good opportunity. You never know. You give him a chance.
Right.
And I did it and I won. And I became on the USA boxing team. That changed my whole life.
That changed everything. And let me just say this about champions. 90% of winning, I've always said this, is just showing up, being in the right place at the right time. You were in
Correct.
the right place right there, Ron, at the right time. The other 10% really comes down to your attitude. You
Correct.
show up with
It
on
was, yeah, it
time
was,
with
it
that
was, I knew
positive
I didn't have
attitude, there
nothing
you
to
are.
lose. Yeah. I knew I didn't have anything to lose, but I didn't look at it as I had nothing to lose. This is the opportunity, and it's no other way that someone had to carry me out of here. Like I'm literally going to win this, right? So I
Right.
had it made, my mind made up, and I already had told everyone I was winning. I'm going to win it. I was actually like an arrogant thing. I went into the mall and got an airbrush shirt and already called myself, declared myself the champion with on my shirt, and I wore it every day
That's
before
right.
the fights even started.
Listen, I think back on some of the
Yeah,
championship teams I was on. I remember one team back in '94. We actually had a sign that we broke through all the football players before the game started. It says, "We're only playing to make it official." Basically, what you were saying right there. You were already the
right.
champion. You were
Yes.
just making it official in the ring that night.
Correct. Yes, for sure. And it was I had to win 5 straight fights. So in five, like we fight once a night, like because there was so many people in the tournament. So that's the
Right.
thing about the amateurs, you fight every day and that for a week straight. And I'm talking about some of the baddest fighters in the world, and it's like you rumbling. So it's a lot of. It was definitely a tough task, but we pulled it out.
I'll tell you what it sounds like. It sounds so like some of those old Jean-Claude Van Damme movies where
Oh,
he would
he's
go
my
over as the
favorite.
baddest man stands at the end, and there
Yes.
you were.
Yes, he was one. He's my favorite. John Claude Van Damme, Bloodsport, all those movies. I love John Claude Van Damme, and it's so great. So when after I won that tournament, I was on the USA team, and our first trip was to go to Mexico City. It was part of the Pan Am Games, which I won a silver medal. I
You
lost to
got the
Cuba.
silver. That's
I
right.
lost to Cuba in the finals. So yeah,
That's just so cool that you had so much success early on. You then at a young age, you graduated high school early, correct?
at 16 years old,
At
yes,
16, you graduate, and then you give everybody a curveball and say, "Hey, I've been doing great living here in Cleveland. I'm moving to the mecca of boxing." You moved on out to Las Vegas.
correct.
How
And
was that going to a new place, a new environment? Probably going back to being the low man on the totem pole once again, if I'm correct, and having to work your way up there.
yeah, so it's really cool how me even going to Las Vegas even came about. I my dad we had a restaurant called CJ's Famous Angus, and it was like a food truck, but we kept it all the time at a convenience store, and I was like the main cook since I already had graduated. That was my job there. So as I was cooking it. It was a gentleman named Tyreek. He came to the trailer that day to come buy some food, and he was complimenting me, saying, "Hey, champ, I remember everyone telling me that you won, like you've been winning these tournaments and things like that." He was like, I actually grew up with Johnny McClain. He said, "Do you know him?" I said, "No." He said, "He's the husband of Layla Ali." They grew up together in Atlanta, Georgia. And he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna put him on the phone really fast." And so he puts him on the phone with me. So we called Johnny Yaya. So Yaya was like, "Hey, Ron, Layla's fighting February 14th, Valentine's Day on ESPN 2003 in Louisville, Kentucky, where her dad is from and things like that."
Right.
So my dad take me there February 14th for the fight. I meet Layla for the first time. I meet Johnny for the first time in person, and we all hit it off. And 2 weeks later, they flew me to Vegas, and I was living with Layla. So that's how I even got to Vegas. It was Layla Ali? I lived with her for a year, and
Unbelievable.
yeah. So that
Unbelievable because in my humble opinion, she's the greatest female boxer, professional boxer that's ever
Yeah,
competed.
for sure. I mean, it's and the reason why there's a lot that go into that, right? There's a lot of female fighters that's really good. Clarissa Shields, Alicia Bumgard, and Amanda Serrano. It's a lot of females that's really carrying the torch right now. But when she did it, she had a lot of pressure, right? Because you're the greatest of all time daughter. They're like to be able to have to carry that name and carry it responsibly and to not let them down. Like she lived up to the name. She did what she was supposed to do. She actually elevated it even more, and she carries it with class. Like that's my big sister, and I love her to death, and I'm so thankful for everything she done for me. But when she brought me to Vegas, I wasn't really the low totem pole. It was actually I had the chip now because everyone. Why did Layla bring him? So now everyone wants to they were calling me out every day. Want to
They're
box with
wanting to
me.
box you,
They want to, yeah, they want to beat up on me. I had grown men wanting to fight me because
but
because they,
that made you tougher and stronger going against
yes,
those old
yes.
men.
Yeah, I had to go in there. I'm boxing 29-year-olds, 30-year-olds, like people trying to get a catch or break in boxing, but I'm like 16, 17, and I'm having to defend myself. But it was good because it actually made me better. And it was she was like she used to always tell me like, now you see how I feel to be an Ali.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now
Yeah.
you know exactly. In fact,
Yeah.
it was Muhammad Ali, and I'll put this championship mentality out there to you because I'm sure that Layla said this to you because it was Howard Cosell that did an interview way back in the 70s with Muhammad Ali. And he said, Muhammad, how is it that for 19 times you have stepped in that ring and defended your title successfully? And Ali said something that was so profound. And this isn't word for word, but basically he said when he got in that ring, he was not defending anything. He was trying to win that championship belt. Okay. He was
Right.
on the offense. He was not trying to play defense. He was trying to win it.
Right.
And I'm sure that Layla put that same type of mentality and instilled that into you too.
Oh yeah, she would always say, "You better fight, boy." That was her favorite thing to come. So yeah, she was definitely. Still to this day. She sends me motivating things, and we always stay in contact with each other. So she's a good, great friend of mine.
That's so cool. So you've crossed over though because you've actually worked with former NFL greats too, like the late Jim Brown, that was the running back for the Cleveland Browns. Tell us about
Yes,
that.
yes. So even right after the Layla Ali and started training, but well, the Jim Brown came about being we both from Cleveland, Ohio,
Yep.
and then so as I was doing my professional career, I I noticed I like would sell a lot of tickets back home, and I would only have like a small percentage of a purse, like of, and I'm like, wow, these numbers don't add up. So I wanted to create my own promotional company,
Right.
and I set out to do that. But then I wanted to come back and not only just have a promotion company, I wanted to make a difference. And I was at the time I was losing a lot of friends growing up, so I wanted to do something that could like cure a message and actually try to implement change and do it through um, my boxing way, but then also bringing a lot of cool people because I always tell a lot of people, a lot of us could tell the younger generation, hey, don't do this, don't do that, but when you have like people that's cool, like if Jay-Z or this person come and said it might it's affect them a little differently. Us as parents, sometimes our kids are like, I don't want to listen or whatever. But this cool celebrity person that can come and do certain things and people may listen. But Jim Brown, he was one of those people that have that kind of effect on like the generation. So I had created Put Down the Guns, Pick Up the Gloves, in which Jim
Right.
Brown Jim Brown brought that out with me. And my first ever event I ever did was October 6th, 2007. We did it in Cleveland, Ohio. And I fought for a title there. I was 20, I was 21 years old actually, getting ready to turn 22. So that's what kicked off the promotion company. And we did that, a big event. We brought so much awareness. We sold out the place. We gave away 3 homes to 3 single moms. It was
Oh,
just an
beautiful.
amazing. It was a super amazing event, and the people really loved it, and it was really good. And Jim Brown, he was funny. It was fun to work with, and it was just crazy how to even get that deal done. He had me come in the middle of the night to come play chess with him down in
Oh, he
Cleveland.
was a chess player.
Chess player, yes. And while we are sitting there playing chess,
Unbelievable.
he's just staring at me before every move. And I'm surrounded by the whole nation of Islam. And it was so funny. It was just
That
like
was
doing the
intimidating, I'm sure.
But it's like I grew up around a lot of Nation of Islam too, but it was just funny that he did this. It was like but he was just like, why tell me why should I do this deal with you? Like, and I had to like answer it. I'm like, oh man, it's Jim Brown. Cause even though
Mr.
he was
Brown.
like older, but he was still big and superior feeling, but we got it done and he was like, I respect this and he loved it. It was good.
Well, that's really, really cool. So we're going to jump over just a little bit outside of your boxing, and then we're going to come back to it. I want to talk for a minute about one of the biggest names in boxing promoting history, and that's Don King. And
Yes.
you actually partnered with the Don King to promote a boxing event. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I actually flew down to Orwell, Ohio, living in Vegas. But Orwell, people don't know, it's on the outskirts of Cleveland. Don King has like thousands of acres there in
Okay.
Orwell, Ohio. Yeah, so
Right.
he has his own training camp there. That's where like a lot of people, Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes, a lot of those people used to go there and train. So one day he invited me down because he knew I was starting to do a lot of big promotions. I had just came off promoting Zab Judah at the Palms, and so this was about a few months later. And he was like, and I was like, Don, would you be willing to co-promote a fight with me? And he was like, Ron, you think you ready for this level of it now? I said, I am. So he put me on it. He put me through a task, told me how much money I would need. So I left him and I went up to Mexico. Went to Canada,
Yep.
and my business partner at the time was Carlos Slim, who was the wealthiest man in the world at the moment.
Okay.
And then he basically gave me the funding to come back and do the deal with Don. And I called Don 2 days later and I said, I got the money you told me to go get. He's like, wow. He's like, oh, you are from Cleveland. Let's go.
That's right. You
so
guys from Cleveland, y'all don't play around.
yeah, yeah. So it's me, Al Heyman, Don, all of us. We all from Cleveland, right? So he said, so I went, got the money, and we ended up doing August. It was August 10th, I believe, in St. Louis, Missouri. So it was a world title fight on HBO, and no matter what they say about Don, I made my money and he gave me mine. So hey, it was good.
That's really good. And the fact that you saw something in Judah after he lost the title, and
Correct.
there was something in you that said, no, he's not done yet. And you were the only one. I
Yes.
believe you were
So
the
yeah,
only one
nobody,
that saw that.
everyone was warning me, like Ron, don't waste your time with that. And Judah, he had just came off 2 fights that he had just lost, and it was just everything was looking so downhill. But you got to realize it was a full circle moment for me because remember the story when I tell you when I was going to Poconos
Right.
and I was training with Mayo Stewart. Well, I was about 13 years old and Zab was 2021, and he was already world champion as a boxer. So he's already making millions of dollars. So he's coming around the Poconos on a scooter, all this big jewelry on. He's in all the Jay-Z videos. He's this
Yep.
big celebrity, right? And he showed us so much love as a kid. I was like, wow, that was big for us, because we admired that with all juries and a big old Mercedes Benz with these spinner wheels on there and all these things, right? So we were admired by it. He even took his time out to spar with us, showing us tricks and things like that. Now you fast forward because now I did this fight November 6th, 2009, which was my 24th birthday, and so now this is his return fight back. But it was like a full circle moment. Who would know that this 13-year-old kid that affected and inspired me so much that 11 years later I would be the one that's bringing you back to your fifth world title fight.
But you did. You
I
saw
did.
something that other people did not see, and
Correct.
that's the mark of a true entrepreneur champion. See, that's one thing I love about you, Ron. You're not just a boxer. Okay, a lot of
No,
people get
not at all.
into the field of boxing, but that's all they do is they box.
Correct.
But you have the business mind on the other end of it too, and you were actually doing the business side of it while you were actually at the peak of your career
Co-
boxing as well.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
unheard of. That's
Yeah, and
literally unheard of in your profession.
no, definitely. Don't get me wrong. It was very challenging to the point where, right after that fight I did for Zab, we did we did really well financially.
Yep.
But then I actually left boxing for 7 years. I was so drained from doing both things,
Right.
and because, like you said, I would be getting my hands wrapped, and then I had production in my right ear telling me, "Hey, the wires is down." It's like, oh man, like so I'm having to deal with this, and then I have a team.
Hmm.
I had to like actually learn how to trust more people as I've gotten older because I've had so many people do certain things wrong to the point where then it comes back on me because my name's on it. So
Right.
I wanted to do everything, like right.
So
So it's like
I'm
if I gotta
sure
hang
that
up the
you've
if I
learned how
gotta
to
hang up the
keep
lights,
to
I'm
get
hanging
the
the
right
lights.
people and make sure your circle is tight.
Right, correct. So it's like if I gotta go hang up the lights because if these lights don't look right and everyone say, man, Ron's lights was they're gonna blame it on me anyway, right? So it's
Right.
like I'm like I got if I gotta go hang up these lights 3 hours before the fight, before I get my hands wrapped, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But it was just too tired, it was just so tiring. And then I had just became a dad. I had 2 kids now, so now it's like I'm handling this big business. I got the all this weight on me. I'm handling Zab Judah's career. Like just it's so much all at once. I was like, you know what? I just need a break from all of it. And I didn't
Right.
come back to boxing until I was 30 years old.
But then when you came back,
Yes,
okay, and let's fast forward now, because you've been fighting for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you get your opportunity internationally for
correct,
the world title right there in the Philippines.
correct. It was the
Take
second,
us,
yeah.
take us to June 2019, leading up to that fight and actually that fight.
Yeah, it even how that came about. I had came back to boxing and I was because I was missing it. Obviously, when you're born to do something, you only can go away from it for so long, right? And
Right.
it was itching, and I'm actually one of the biggest boxing fans, regardless of just in the business. But I'm a boxing fan. I love it to death. I love what it's done for my life, and it's like I wouldn't have. I don't recommend I don't want my kids to do it, but I definitely love it, right? And I love what it done for me. But it's missing it so much. I ended up coming back to boxing, started doing these different fights, but then it was the randomest phone call. I was on the phone with one of my good friends, and he was trying to make a fight for a heavyweight guy named Christopher Lovejoy against Saul Farah to go fight in the Philippines. And he said, I don't think Christopher Lovejoy is going to take the fight. And I said, well, I ain't fought in 2 years, but I'm not thinking me. I'm not thinking me. But then it came to me because I'm like, well, how much are they trying to pay him to fight? Tells me the number. Now I'm really thinking me.
You're thinking you.
Right?
That's good
So
money.
now,
Plus, you got mouths to feed in your
yeah, I got
household.
miles of fees. So I'm like this. I said, how much? I said, man, I went on there before I opened my mouth. I went on the YouTube real quick, checked out 30 seconds. I saw, I don't care. I beat this dude. I beat him.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I said, I'll take it. He said, huh, Ron? He just betting to me that the other guy don't want to take it, but he don't know I'm about to say I want to fight,
You
right?
want to
So,
fight.
yep. So I accepted the fight, and we rolled it out and kicked off with the press conference in April at the Philippine Chamber of Commerce there in LA, and that was the announcement for the fight, and then I went to over to the Philippines, and when I tell you it was the one of the, if not the greatest experience I've ever had in my entire life. Shout out to Ray Rodas and Red Boxing. They really they really outdid themselves, right? We had our own host hotel, my face on the side of it. When I got to customs in Philippines in Davao City, I didn't even wait in the line or anything. It's just they were already waiting on me
They're
to
waiting on
escort
you.
me
They
through.
do.
The police escorted us through. I had police escorts the whole time. I was there for a month. Had police escorts every day, waking up through the hotels. Really made you feel like a champion, right?
Right.
It was it was the second heavyweight title fight in the Philippines ever. The first one was Thrilla in Manila, which was
Right.
Ali and Frazier.
And
This was the
Frazier. That's
second
right.
heavyweight fight ever in history in the Philippines. And President Duterte, his daughter Sarah Duterte, she was the mayor of Davao City, which now she's the vice president. She really, really, really showed us a lot of hospitality, and like I said, it was so amazing. And we like the police escorts are through the streets, and there was so much traffic. When I had to fly back to LA because that's where I flew back to, and I got back into the United States, and that traffic in LA, I'm like, oh man, take me. I can't. Where's the police?
Where's the police escort?
Yeah, it's very, but it was a great time, and but that was a crazy fight. I ended up winning. I knocked him down twice in the first round, actually. And then I let him get back up a couple times because I had a prediction that I would knock him out in the second round. So I wanted to save it to actually make my prediction come true, and I ended up making the fight harder than it was supposed to be. I should have just got it over in the first round, but
Right.
but I won. It was good.
Well, it's always good to win and to be able to win that world championship right there, to win the belt. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the now sitting president of the Philippines was the one that awarded you that belt. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes, Bon Marcos. Yes, and we actually still good friends to this day. And he wants me to bring back a series over there to the Philippines and actually bring some more talent here, or get them eyeballs here in America, so we can find that next great champion in the Philippines.
Unbelievable. So I'm going to fast forward about 4 months from there. Okay. Now it's
Yes,
October of
correct.
2019. You're fighting Ramirez you're defending your title now right there in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And yours truly gets to meet you for the very
Hey,
first time back in the locker room right before that match. And you were being trained by one of the greats,
Floyd
which
Mayweather
is
Senior.
Floyd Mayweather Sr.
Yes.
And I remember I was with Ray Rodas, and we came up to you, and you were as gracious and as kind as you could be. And I was like, man, you got to fight. Get your mind on that right now.
Right.
But you went out there that night, and I sat ringside with none other than Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray Leonard. Yes.
I sat right there next to Sugar Ray Leonard ringside and watched you defend that belt. And I became a number one Ron Johnson fan that night,
Oh,
watching you do
thank you.
that, because that was a hard fight.
Oh yeah, Ramirez fights me. He fight me tough. We fought twice, and he fight me really tough, and it was very hard fight. It's definitely not easy, and I was thankful to come away with the decision, and
Right.
it was a good fight, and it's always a lot of drama when me and him fight. Even though and it's funny because me and him actually close friends. I just promoted a fight May 30th a couple months ago, and he was fighting. He fought on it, so I promoted him just 2 months ago.
Well, that
So yeah,
if you think about it, especially like the heavyweight, once they get up in the top five, top 10,
right.
a lot of those guys are friends.
No, for sure. I mean, and it's at the end of the day, it's a business. But it's and unfortunately, it's the fighting business and the hurt business. So you have to have that hat on there. But then you also have a mutual respect for one another. And so even like when we had that big fight that night, the whole aftermath and the craziness that took part in after that's really not even me and him, right?
Right.
That's the other things like that. But it was unfortunate, but I was glad everyone made it out safely. And hey, it's like, but hey, we live and we learn. And some things, I wish I could change to make sure I do things a lot different, and carry myself like a champion in and out the ring at all times, because people are watching. And certain things I wish I could do differently, but nevertheless, you live and you learn, and experiences is the best teacher.
Well, it is the best teacher. So, with that being said, let's switch gears one more time. Okay.
Okay.
So, in the past year, you've actually promoted two events, one there in Cleveland and then one down in Miami recently, just a couple of months ago, I believe. Right.
Yeah, no, I've actually done, yeah, in the last year, we've done three in Miami.
Three in
And
Miami.
three in Miami, yes,
Okay.
and one in Cleveland.
Okay. Well, and what's coming up next?
So next, we're looking at, it's either October 3rd or October 24th, whatever that Saturday is.
Mhm.
Actually, I'll know it once we're done with our interview. I'll know actually what that date will be. And so that one's going to be a big one. I have a Marine Shea. She's actually the real $1 million baby. So the movie, she
Really?
inspired the movie. Yes,
She
and she
inspired the movie.
yes, and she actually trained alongside the actress who they won all these different awards for, and she actually played in the movie as well as her double. So, but she's a former world champion, Marine Shea. She's from down that way in Florida, and we're bringing her back, and she's going to headline.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely. So if you'll keep me informed, I'll be there.
Oh yes, yes, yes. It'll be more than likely. It'll probably be at the Gulfstream, there in Hollandale Beach, Florida, the Gulfstream Park Casino. So we're finalizing everything right now, but that's going to be really good. And we just coming off of May 30th, where I had the two Cuban legends, Yuriokis Gamboa and Guillermo Rigondeaux, who were two gold medalists and former champions. So we brought them back because I'm trying to line up Gamboa with Pacquiao if Floyd doesn't do it. So I'm trying to do that. I'm working behind the scenes, so this will be a good one. But yeah,
That will be a
we
really
working.
good one. Yeah,
Yes,
if you can get Pacquiao to come back out of retirement, oh wow,
yes,
that'd be
yeah.
crazy.
He
Okay,
wants to,
so we're
so
going
it's
to wrap
ready.
it up
Yeah.
now. So Ron, for all the young folks out here that are tuning in, is there any final words that you want to say to them that will make a difference? Something that they can take with them when they finish watching this podcast and say, you know what? I'm glad I saw Ron Johnson today. What he said right there at the end really meant something to me. Is there something like that you say to them?
I would say one of the biggest things that's on my heart, because I always say what I feel at the moment, right? I never say the same thing twice because I like to say what I'm feeling. And from our conversation, just me talking about it out loud, I would definitely want to tell them, you never want to live life and have regret.
Right.
So make sure you take full advantage of every opportunity you have, because at someday you will get older and you will look back and want to say, I gave it my all and I really put my best foot forth. So make sure you do that. That's what I feel at this current second. I would just wanted to say, and then you also, you want to take advice and always be able to listen and learn. And something I learned from uh, what is her name, the lady Martha Stewart. I watched her documentary and she said she tried to learn something new every day, and I've been implementing that into my life, whether it's reading different things or just trying to learn and expand my brain. And those different things like that to just keep you mentally sharp, and because we never know it all. And that's what I would like to say. And keep going
Well, keep going. And I
and
tell this
rise up.
this new generation out there right
Yeah,
now, if they've got any kind of work ethic, if they've got any kind of work ethic in this weak, watered down, mediocre society that is driven by reality television,
correct.
but if they've got the work ethic, they can shine in this environment that they are in
Yeah,
right
it
now
get
against all the
it,
against
e-
everybody else.
everything's you could touch everything, right? Even
Right,
because I'm a part of an era that it was just starting to transform a little bit, but it
right.
was still harder. Where people were like, "How did you get a hold of this person? How did you get a hold of that person?" Right? It wasn't no writing Layla Ali having a DM, right? That had to come from different connections. But now the world is at your fingertips, and like you said, the youth now and the people coming up and doing different things. It's a lot more obtainable to do a
How,
lot of things. So the work ethic is huge.
how does up and coming talent connect with you?
You could catch me, Dream Ron John on Instagram, uh, Ronald Johnson on Facebook, and I know my name very common, so you have to. I would say Dream Ron John would be the easiest way through Instagram,
Right.
and American Dream Presents is the website, so you can either go to there and that I have all my socials there where you can find me there, and then also at Nothing But Sportz, and that's sports with a Z on the end.
So everybody that's watching right now, you'll be able to actually go back and see the recording of this. If you need that information at the end of this podcast, make sure that you get it. All you young folks out there that are wanting to do great things in the boxing community. So Ron, once again, I want to thank you for being my very first guest on the Rise Up with Robbie podcast. I mean, I can't believe it. I'm ecstatic. I'm humbled,
Thank
and
you
I'm
so
honored
much.
that you're here, man.
No, I appreciate you. And one last thing to tell everybody: rise up.
Exactly.
Let's
I want
go.
everybody to rise up to new levels.
Yes,
Rise up to
sir.
new levels. Well, listen. So make sure that you tune in every Tuesday. We're going to have a lot of different guests with us. Next Tuesday, believe it or not, I coached this guy way back. He was the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys and for the Arizona Cardinals. And he actually split time with Emmett Smith. His name is
Mm.
Troy Hambrick, and he's going to be with us next Tuesday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you then.
See you there. I'm gonna be tuning in. I can't wait to
Rise
watch it.
up.
Thank you. Rise up. See you guys.
What do you do when life knocks you down? You rise up. In Touchdown America, coach, speaker, and presidential candidate Robby Wells shares his remarkable journey through football, politics, adversity, and second chances. Packed with hard-won wisdom and powerful inspiration, this must-read memoir will challenge you to pursue your dreams, learn from every setback, and rise again. Get your copy of Touchdown America today. Thanks for joining us on Rise Up with Robbie. If today's conversation encouraged or challenged you, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this live stream with your family and friends. Join us again every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. Until next time, keep your faith strong, keep moving forward, and remember, it's always time to rise up.